Imagine a jungle where the trees breathe, the ground moves, and the shadows hunt. Jason thought the stories were just myths until he found himself alone in the heart of the Amazon, where the jungle doesn't just live, watches. When the silence falls, the vines come alive. He realizes too late that some places don't let you leave. What lurks in the darkness isn't just an animal, it's something ancient, something hungry, and it's already found him. Will he escape, or will the jungle claim another soul? Watch until the end. If you dare. The jungle was alive in a way that defied the imagination. It wasn't the kind of life most people envision, with the chirping of birds or the rustling of leaves in the wind. No, this jungle was different. Its pulse beat with an ancient, terrifying rhythm, as if the earth itself were watching, waiting, biding its time. Jason had heard the stories, tales of the ominous jungles of South America, where adventurers vanished without a trace, swallowed by shadows. He had laughed them off, dismissing the warnings from the locals as superstition. Now, as he trudged alone through the dense, suffocating undergrowth under the cover of night, doubt crept in. The air was thick with humidity, clinging to his skin like syrup. Yet it wasn't the heat that unsettled him. It was the silence. For hours, the jungle had been alive with faint sounds. The occasional snap of a branch, the skittering of insects, the low hum of the night. But now there was nothing. A deafening, oppressive silence that wrapped around him like a shroud, filling him with a creeping dread. It was the kind of silence that made you feel watched, hunted. Jason fumbled for his flashlight and flicked it on. The beam cut through the darkness, illuminating a narrow path flanked by towering trees. Light danced across the shadows, but when he turned to us, there was nothing there, just the endless, suffocating blackness. His breath quickened. "Stay calm, Jason," he muttered to himself. "It's just the jungle. Your mind's playing tricks on you. You've been in worse places than this. Just keep moving." He had started this journey with his friend Dave. Both of them had been eager for adventure, for the thrill of exploring the unknown. But now, Dave was gone. Vanished hours ago without a trace. He had been searching for an ancient temple hidden deep within the jungle, but with every step, it felt less like a quest and more like a trap. The jungle seemed to close in around him, its presence growing heavier, more menacing. Then he heard it. A sound. Distant at first, but unmistakable. A low, guttural moan. It wasn't the cry of an animal, not like anything he'd ever heard before. This was something else, something human, yet not. It was a sound of agony, of torment, as if whatever was making it was suffering beyond comprehension. Jason froze, his ears strained, trying to pinpoint the source. The moan came again, closer this time, and then another from a different direction. The sounds seemed to surround him, closing in from all sides. The jungle was awake. He looked down, and the ground beneath him shifted. Vines, thick, sinewy, and alive, wrapped around his ankles, pulling him down. Panic surged through him as he struggled to free himself, but the roots were too strong. They coiled tighter, dragging him toward the earth. The ground beneath him seemed to tremble, as if something vast and ancient was stirring. A deep, resonant hum filled the air, growing louder, more dissonant. It was a sound unlike anything Jason had ever heard. A chorus of voices, dry and rasping, like the wails of 1,000 lost souls. His heart pounded in his chest as he screamed, but the jungle swallowed his voice whole. A shadow loomed over him. He looked up, and there it was, the creature. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural light, its mouth twisted into a grotesque grin. Clawed hands reached for him, and Jason felt a wave of despair so profound it threatened to crush him. He shut his eyes, willing it all to be a nightmare, but the moans grew louder, more frenzied, filled with an unrelenting rage. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, it stopped. The vines retreated, the creature dissolved into the shadows, and the cacophony of voices faded into silence. Jason didn't hesitate. He scrambled to his feet and ran, his flashlight's dim beam bouncing wildly as he sprinted through the jungle. He didn't know what was chasing him, but he could feel it. Something was closing in, driving him forward. His lungs burned, his legs ached, but he couldn't stop. He didn't dare. The flashlight flickered, its battery dying, but he pressed on, desperate for any sign of safety. A faint glow appeared through the trees, a flicker of light that looked like fire. Hope surged within him as he ran toward it, pushing through the dense foliage. It was the camp. He was almost there. When he finally burst into the clearing, he stopped dead in his tracks. Dave was there, but something was wrong. Dave's eyes were wide, unseeing, his skin pale and glowing faintly. He stared at Jason. There was no recognition in his gaze, only emptiness. "Dave," Jason whispered, his voice trembling. Dave didn't respond. Instead, he slowly raised his hand and pointed behind Jason. Jason turned, and his blood turned to ice. The jungle loomed at the edge of the clearing, its darkness impenetrable. And there, at the edge of the trees, stood the creature. Its eyes burned with that same unnatural light, its mouth frozen in a grimace of eternal suffering. Moans began again, rising in volume, echoing through the night. Jason couldn't move, couldn't breathe. The jungle had claimed him, and there was no escape. The creature stepped forward, and the jungle closed in around him.